So in the video that I just did, where I was looking at the data from Maddie's phone alongside movements of Jen and Stefan, the thing that I wasn't sure what to do with was a report by an Officer Vasquez from the evening that Maddie was reported missing, because that didn't seem to fit with the narrative that we were being given. Not just from Jen and Stefan, but also from the reports, the other reports about Maddie's phone. And even after I finished that video, I was like, this is really interesting. And it was bothering me. And then a few commenters also mentioned it, brought it up. So I thought I needed to dig a bit deeper and have a look at that. So that's what I'm doing in this video. So I'll start with that report and then we'll go from there. Okay, so before I jump in, I'll just say this for people who may not have caught it on my other videos. I bought this docket from Plunder through her Patreon, but if you are after a copy of this docket, the best source is Grizzly True Crime, because she's actually made it available for free. I only found that out afterwards. So if you are wanting, this is from the 500-page document dump, so if you are wanting to get a copy of that, hop over to Grizzly True Crime, go to her Patreon. You don't have to pay to be a member. She has paid membership levels, but she also has free membership levels, which means that you get emails telling you when she's about to do video drops and everything, which is something I only just discovered when I went over looking for documents and stuff. That's just an aside, that's got nothing to do with this, but you can get this document for free from Grizzly without even needing to join her Patreon, but you can, if you want to, become a member of her Patreon for free, and that gives you emails, notifications, and also access to a few things like this, I think. Although I don't think you have to be a member to access the documents. I'm not sure. Okay, so enough waffling. So this is a report from E. Vasquez, and this is kind of significant. So just to establish what's going on here, on the 26th of February at approximately 2017 hours, so that's 17 minutes past 8 in the evening, I, Officer Vasquez, responded to in reference to an attempt to locate Madeline Soto. Orange County Sheriff's Office wanted me to check the home of Madeline to see if she had returned home. Upon my arrival, I spoke to the leaseholder and roommate of Madeline's mother, who advised that Madeline has yet to return home. Additionally, she advised that Madeline's relationship with her mother was fine and would not know of any reason why she would run away. Yada yada gave me permission to search the home. I did not observe any signs of a possible struggle or any reasons to raise suspicions. Madeline's belongings were still in her room, including her cell phone, which is uncommon for juvenile runaways. I don't need to read the rest of that because I've covered the two important things. He went to the townhouse at 17 minutes past 8 and he observed Maddie's cell phone in her room. Why is that significant? At 17 minutes past 8, Jen and Stefan had not yet returned home. Jen claims that she did not return home between when she left the home at 2:30 and then arrived back after all their interviews and everything after 9 p.m. She also claims that she had Maddie's phone with her. So this is problematic. Now, when I read it, my first thought was, well, this must be some kind of mistake. But then, why would you say in a report so very specifically that the phone was there? You know, they made the observation that her cell phone was there, which is uncommon for juvenile runaways. So this puts into question everything that was said by Jen. And it's also problematic in terms of the log from Maddie's phone. And I think that's why I initially disregarded this. So I'm going to jump straight to looking at the log from Maddie's phone before I go on to anything else. Now, we seem to be missing documents here, is all I can say. Because all they've showed here is information on the phone up until 3 minutes past 5 in the evening. But that's still significant. So, in terms of the afternoon, we have at 2:37, 54 steps are recorded on the phone, which is when Jen would be taking Madeline's phone to her when she left to go pick her up from school. Now, in my other video, I showed you that Stefan was not home at that point in time. His car is still being picked up all over the place on various red light cameras, etc. So he was still out and about. So those 54 steps were definitely recorded from Jen moving the phone. So that's interesting. And they say there, and this is clearly based on Jen's account, that those steps match with her taking the phone to pick up Maddie from school. And then it says here 3 minutes past 5 is when the next steps were counted. Now, there's no information here as to how many steps occurred at that time, and there's no further information in terms of when more steps were counted on the phone, etc. So we actually don't know anything more about the movement of the phone from 3 minutes past 5. But from this, we're led to believe that Jen had the phone with her. So let's look at the timeline in terms of Jen saying that she didn't come back to the apartment.
When you leave to go pick Madeline up at 2:30, do you take her phone with you?
I do.
And how is it that you come to get her phone to go with you?
At some point in the morning, I was organizing and putting things away, and I walked into her bedroom and I saw her phone on her dresser. And I just assumed, oh, she must have left it here while getting dressed and forgot it.
Okay. Was it on?
Yes.
And sometimes when you bump or move phones, the notification screen comes up.
Mm-hmm.
Did you happen to do that, and did you see if there was any incoming notifications that she had missed?
I hadn't seen any, no.
Okay. All right.
So according to this timeline, that would say that she discovered Maddie's phone after her appointment, because we know the phone was turned off until 5 to 11, which was when she was supposedly still out at her appointment, meaning Stefan turned the phone back on. She's saying here the phone was turned on when she found it. And she's saying basically She found it turned on when she was straightening up Maddie's room, and she took it with her when she went to collect Maddie. What's interesting here is the way that she goes really quiet when he asks her if she noticed that there were any notifications on the phone when she picked it up. And I don't know, that doesn't necessarily have any bearing on this, but it's interesting. Usually when someone goes quiet with answers like that, it's because they're either lying or they know they shouldn't be answering that question. Okay, so let's listen to some more audio that is discussing this phone.
My understanding is that you want to be first in line, and you have to get there early to do that, and I understand that.
Yeah.
She doesn't come out.
She doesn't know.
Did you call her phone?
I did.
Why did you do that?
Because I forgot I had it with me. I was like, where is she? Why isn't she out yet? So I start calling her phone, and then I start realizing I'm hearing vibrating, and then I look down, and I see her phone's with me. I'm like, oh.
Okay.
How am I going to get a hold of her?
Okay, can I just say how much I hate it with this narrative that Jen puts out, that she sounds so calm about the fact that she suddenly realised she's got no way of contacting Maddie. She's like, oh, how am I going to get hold of her? Shouldn't you be starting to be concerned because you've got your child's phone, you don't know where your child is? It's not something that you should be talking about in that light-hearted tone. Okay, so having said that, so here she is confirming that, yes, she had the phone. She even rang it while she was waiting for Maddie. She makes it a clear part of her narrative that she definitely had the phone. She rang it while she was waiting for Maddie. And of course, in terms of the steps that were recorded on the phone at 2:37, they could only, like I said, they could only have been Jen. So it makes sense, it actually fits the timeline that she would have the phone with her when she went to collect Maddie, right? Unfortunately, since we don't have the full phone logs for Maddie's phone, or for Jen's phone for that matter, we can't know at this point in time if she actually did make that phone call to Maddie's phone, because that would be very interesting. It would also be very interesting, I'm guessing that they would have done a deep extraction from Maddie's phone, meaning that they should have GPS information from Maddie's phone showing its movements from 2:30 up until when it was eventually collected by law enforcement the following day. Okay, so let's continue on with listening to this narrative.
Now, you mentioned to me before too that you found her phone on her dresser in like her little bedroom area. Does she have a specific spot where she plugs in her phone to charge? How does she charge her phone?
So on her side of my bed, she's got a long charger. She'll connect it there to charge. Don't know how she charged it that night though. Don't know if she took her charger and moved it to the room upstairs. Not sure.
Okay, just as an aside, we know that the phone was charged while it was upstairs because it records steps and it is plugged into charge and then it is removed from the charger at 7:05 in the morning. Jen would have to know that Maddie must have charged it upstairs because otherwise it wouldn't have been charged. I mean, it's just normal to charge your phone overnight, right? So the fact that she then had it the following day, she took it to the bus line and it rang, would infer that the phone was charged. She would have to know that. But the point here is that she's saying that she discovered it in Maddie's bedroom, on the dresser in Maddie's bedroom. So that is interesting because that is where it says in the report that the phone was sighted. Okay, so there is one more audio that I want to play, and then I want to go back to looking at some documents.
Did you come back to the apartment at any point yesterday once you realized she was missing?
Stefan was at home waiting for us to get back. And then when I told him something was wrong, she never made it to school, he completely hauled it back to me. And then we all stood there waiting for the cops to show up, and they didn't show up till like 7:30. It took them a while to respond. I think they were looking for other missing kids around the area too. But yeah, no, we did not come back home until we were done with the police. We were done with everything. There was nothing else for us to do except come back
Where
home.
was her phone when all of this was happening?
With me.
How did you get the phone if you never came back here?
I took it with me to go pick her up from school. I was going to give it to her when she got in the car and be like, listen, you forgot your phone again, and let her play on it. I'll do that sometimes when she forgets it. I bring the phone with me and I just give it to her afterwards. But I had brought it with me to go pick her up from school.
So she eventually states that no, she did not return to the apartment until after they'd finished with all their interviews, which was sometime after 9. I'm paraphrasing here. But she says that she had Maddie's phone with her and that she had taken it with her when she went to pick Maddie up. But what's really interesting here is when the officer does actually ask her, did you return to the apartment? It's not a straight out, no, we just went straight to my mother's office and we didn't get back there till such and such a time. No, she goes into this really long-winded explanation. And I think we all know by now that when someone starts giving an over-explanation of something, that they are being untruthful. So clearly, it seems that Jen is being untruthful here, right? And the officer specifically says, essentially, well, if you didn't go back to the apartment, how did you have her phone? Now that's a curious question. Why is that a curious question? Because we have this report by Officer Vasquez who says that he saw Maddie's phone on the dresser in Maddie's bedroom. So, did Jen go back to the apartment? Let's go back and look at some more documents. Now, this is again from that huge document, the 501-page document dump. And I'm just going to point out that all this timeline here is solid. This is based on cameras, on gate clickers, etc. So, what is significant here? Let's have a look at what happened at 1800 hours. 1800 hours being 6 p.m. Okay, so we have at 6 p.m. somebody, it is redacted, goes back to the apartment. Now I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit more because we can actually see letters above the redactions, so it's not fully redacted. Okay, so I've actually added text to demonstrate what I'm talking about. So clearly the choice is either Jen went back to the apartment or Stefan went back to the apartment. But when you look at the redaction, you can see 3 letters that pop up above the redaction. The first letter is at the beginning of the name. That to me definitely looks like the top of a J. If you head towards the end, that is definitely the top of an I and an F. Jennifer fits there perfectly. Stefan does not fit. The only thing you would expect to see there would be the top of the S and the T at the start, and the top of the H a little bit past midway. So we know here from reading this that based on surveillance, so this is solid data, Jen did go back to the apartment at 6 p.m. Did she leave the phone there accidentally at 6 p.m.? Did she go back there to remove something from Maddie's room? Was she worried about needing to hide evidence? And then she must have put Maddie's phone down and forgot about it, or put it down and was originally planning on saying that she didn't know about it, and then she messed up the narrative. So it seems most logical to me that either she didn't take the phone with her at all, but she was doing something with it just before she left the apartment at 2:30, just around 2:30, or that she returned to the apartment. Well, we know that she did. That when she returned to the apartment, she left Maddie's phone there after taking it with her, either accidentally or intentionally. Either she screwed up the narrative, or she accidentally forgot the phone, which essentially screwed up the narrative anyway, because it proves that she was in the apartment. And like I said, they have it on camera, or probably connected with her clicker on the car. Obviously they've got all that footage of the cars coming and going from the apartments. They haven't released any of that, so that's going to be really, really interesting. So I'd really love to see more data from this phone and more data from Jen's car. And why did she return to the apartment at 6 o'clock before they met with the officers? And why did she lie about it? That's really, really interesting. Now, this makes the most sense to me, that when she returned to the apartment at 6 o'clock, she left the phone there, either deliberately or accidentally. Only Jen could tell us the truth of that. But I do want to show you something interesting that I noticed from some of the images from when they processed the apartment. Now, in terms of timeline with Maddie's phone, the day after they reported Maddie missing, an officer collected the phone that morning. Now, I was going to go and pull out the conversation where they're asking Jen about movement of the phone and it going back to her mother's office the following morning, and she says to them, oh, that would have been the officer who collected the phone. He went there because her uncle had found a wallet or something when he was out searching. But I didn't think that was really necessary to add to that. I think we know by now that the phone was collected by officers, or an officer, the morning after Maddie went missing, and Jen didn't have it after that. But the search of the apartment was done after that. So that was done the evening of the 27th. So Maddie was reported missing on the 26th, 27th in the morning, the phone was collected. Evening of the 27th, sorry, the apartment was done on the 28th. It was locked down on the 27th. It was inspected on the 28th. So I just want to show you two photos because this is kind of interesting to me. So these photos are, of course, when they process the apartment. And as you can see here, this is the corner of Maddie's fake room, showing her computer and part of the dresser. And then we get a closer look here of the dresser, and we can see all the stuff that's sitting on the dresser. And here's the thing that I noticed. Okay, so I'm just going to point out, if you've got a fake ass room, then why not have fake ass orchids in there? Not a real plant, just fake plants. Seems like the story of Maddie's life, the poor child. But looking directly in front of those orchids, there appears to be an object that looks like it is flat. It is in some kind of black rubber case, and it looks like it could be the shape of a phone. Of course, the thing here is that if it is a phone, then it would have to either belong to one of the officers or it must be a toy because the screen's not black. But I just found that to be really, really interesting. Because at first I thought, oh, is that Maddie's phone? Like I said, it couldn't be because the screen would be black if it was there. And also we know that Maddie's phone was collected. And then I thought, well, maybe it is a random additional phone. But once again, the screen's not black. So I'm thinking it's possibly a toy. I'm going to just put a magnifier on it for you for half a moment. Okay, so to me that doesn't really help at all. But it's just interesting that there is this object there that at first glance could almost be mistaken for a phone. So I'm wondering, I'd really love to get hold of the body-worn camera from this Officer Vasquez, just to confirm that they did actually see Maddie's phone there on this dresser, and that they didn't see whatever this is and mistake that for her phone, and write that in their report as being Maddie's phone on the dresser. Like I said, I don't think it's a real phone, just from looking at the screen of it. And unfortunately the picture is not clear enough to see what it actually is. Even if we magnify it, it's still really hard to tell what it is. But could the officer have, in going into Maddie's room and checking it out, seen that and mistaken it for her mobile phone? Like I said, we can't know unless we get to see the body-worn camera. And the thing is, it actually says in the report that they recorded part of it. So it's possible that they may not have even recorded when they were in Maddie's fake room. But it's just interesting. So I think we can't know for certain whether Jen actually did leave Maddie's phone at the apartment when she returned at 6 o'clock, or if perhaps the officer made a mistake and saw that and thought that was the phone. Until we see more phone data. When you think about the interview that they did, the body-worn camera interview that they did on the night that Maddie was reported missing, you see Jen messing around a lot with her own phone, but she does not at any point in time produce Maddie's phone. She says to the officer, "I have it," but she doesn't produce it. And in other stories, she talks about how she hadn't checked the messages on the phone. She originally says that she did. When they challenge her over it, she says, "Well, actually, no, I didn't see that because I was too distraught or something like that, and gave it to my sister and niece to look through, and they looked through. And I didn't look at it till much, much later." And then she also says something about it having been checked, or them getting to Roblox at the apartment. So her story actually changes over the phone as well, in terms of she originally claims that she checked the phone herself for information. Then she says that actually no, her sister and her niece. Like when they press her as to, well, what did you find? Then she backs off and says, well, no, my sister and my niece did that. Which is, giving plausible deniability, or I don't know what was on there. And then she also, at a later date, comments about them having to come to the apartment to look at Roblox or something like that. So it is quite plausible that the phone actually was there at 6 p.m. or after 6 p.m. between 6 p.m. and when the officer went there to check the apartment. But there's also this itty-bitty possibility that the officer may have seen whatever this is sitting on the dresser and thought that was Maddie's phone. Is this significant? I think the major significance here is the fact that Jen lied about returning to the apartment. So they seem pretty confident that Maddie's phone was in the apartment when the officer went to check the apartment. Now, surely an officer would be intelligent enough to tell the difference between a phone and a toy, or whatever that thing is. So I'm leaning towards Jen actually leaving the phone at the apartment when she returned at 6 p.m. and that they caught her in a lie in terms of her saying she did not return to the apartment, because they know they have in their report from this officer that they saw the phone there. For me, I'm leaning more towards that the officer did actually see Maddie's phone there, given that, for starters, it's their job to be observant in places like that. So you'd think that they would know the difference and they would recognise whatever that thing was as not being a phone, and that they would have spotted the actual phone. Also, the reason I'm leaning towards the phone being there is the fact that Jen did lie about returning to the apartment, and then claims that she had it with her when she spoke to officers on that body-worn camera interview, even though she actually did not have it on her, because we see no evidence of her having it in that interview. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think that Jen caught herself in a massive lie here? And also, what do you think she was doing back at the apartment when she returned at 6 p.m? I'd really love to get more data on that phone, to know the movement of that phone. Did she really take it with her when she went to pick up Maddie, and then did she return it to the apartment at 6 p.m? And either intentionally or accidentally leave it behind on Maddie's dresser. Now, I'm going to finish this video just playing that body-worn camera footage, so you can look at that and see that the only phone that she has the entire time is her own phone. We know from the documents that Maddie's phone was in a purple case. Jen is definitely not holding a phone in a purple case. But maybe someone with a keen eye might be able to spot if maybe someone else actually is holding a phone that is in a purple case. I haven't actually looked for that, but I'll look at it while I'm editing also. So this is where I'll finish my bit of the whole video, and like I said, I'll play that video on the end. So thanks for watching. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. Also, please hit the like button. That YouTube loves it. It helps get my video out to more people. And please do leave comments below. I love seeing people's comments. I love responding to people's comments. And I always do my best to respond to everyone's comments. Okay, so let's finish off with this video. Thanks for coming, and I'll catch you in the next one.
Yes, it's
Okay. Hi there.
I gotta catch her. Be there.
Hey there. What's going on?
So, was dropped off close to school this morning, but never made it. I went to pick her up from school.
I'm sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir.
Are we looking for another kid or we have a kid?
Looking for another one.
Good,
Alright,
police
so
officer
people are
just
still
showed
on
up,
the
so
scene.
he's
Let's
gonna
put that
start
out.
taking some
In the
information.
hospital location. How old?
13.
I'm trying to get there right now.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Alright,
So she was supposed to be dropped off at school, didn't make it to school.
Didn't make it to school. I went to pick her up from school today,
Okay.
and she never came out. They announced it over the speaker, and I'm just like, maybe she walked here, because sometimes she'll walk here to this office. I came here, nothing. I went back to the school, they were closed. I got an email from the school saying she was absent, but I also messaged her teacher, and he looked at her entire attendance today and saw that she was completely not at school today either.
Okay.
So she never made it.
Okay. What's her name?
Madeline, Madeline,
Madeline. Last name?
Soto, S-O-T-O.
Soto.
Yeah.
Date of birth?
February 22nd, 2011.
February 27, 2000.
22nd,
Oh, sorry. 22nd,
2011.
2011.
Just had her 13th birthday.
13.
1418 Charlie Worldwide. What's the name of the single age?
Madeline Soto, age 13. I'm trying to get a clothing description now. What was she last seen wearing?
26 County Charlie Worldwide. People hit my call 931 at the same call.
Green hoodie,
Green hoodie,
white Crocs,
white Crocs,
either blue or black pants,
I think black shorts.
black shorts.
Yeah.
black shorts. Okay, black shorts. All right. Do you know if she has like friends in the area?
She does, but she doesn't know where they live.
She doesn't know where they live. Okay.
I asked all of them.
Okay. Is this like? Does she like have any places that you guys know that she'll usually be at? Any friend's house? Any places that like she likes to hang out?
Not typically, no.
No.
Not typically. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Let me see if I get some.
Thank you.
No problem. And what school she goes to? 125. Do you guys have? Do you have a picture of her? Can you airdrop it to me?
Yeah, I know. Let me see which picture. I don't know which picture.
Anything recently, probably from a birthday party, right?
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so I have to look at. What's up?
Go ahead. That's what I'm about to grab right now. Yeah. Alright, cool, thank you.
Is this a good enough picture, or do you need a whole
Yeah,
body
that's
picture?
perfect.
Okay. How do I airdrop? I don't know how to do it.
I got you. Okay, where's the photo? Right there.
It's on WhatsApp.
That's fine.
I saved it to my photos, so you could go.
You saved it to your photos?
Yeah, we can just
Perfect.
go straight to the photos.
Okay, perfect. Give me a second. Yeah. I'm gonna send it out right now to my other guys.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Never showed up. So they called since I don't even know when, but whenever they what did you say that what should call? My question is not why is this not a code 3 when it first came out? Yeah, so that last time she was seen, it was early this morning, like 7 o'clock. That's what I'm about to see. I'm about to go check. I just try to get as much information now of her clothing description, send it to Diaz, because Diaz has a hit in like a big area full of kids. So if you want to help me out with this one, give me my signal expert. By any chance, does she have a phone number or phone?
She does, but she left it at home today. I have it.
You have it.
And I've already gone through her messages.
Okay. How about, does she have like Apple Watch? No.
She's got a device. The only device she's got on her right now is her school laptop.
Her school laptop. Is that trackable?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It should be. It should be.
If the Wi-Fi is turned on, it'll try to connect to any Wi-Fi.
So by like circle here.
It connects to any USB.
Well, does she know all the history of running away or anything?
Never.
She's just hanging out about time kind of?
Possibly, I don't know. She got dropped off. She was like, so she's embarrassed by his car. So she didn't want to be dropped off at school. She wanted to be dropped off like half a block away so she can walk.
Same name as thing, she's in the face.
But he dropped her off half a block away and drove away.
Okay. Did she ever go to school though?
No, we called
She
school.
was walking in that direction. She was rifling through her backpack, just looking for something. I thought maybe she was just looking for headphones before she got her walking on.
Yeah.
But she was just kind of, shambling over in that direction. It looked the same as any other morning. Okay.
What was the last thing you asked?
If she went to school, I think that's what it was.
So I got confirmation from the school that she never made it. They sent me an email saying she didn't make it. But I also spoke to her or emailed one of her teachers directly, and he looked at all her attendance for all her periods and told me she didn't make it at all today.
Okay.
Say it again? No, she's supposed to have a book bag. She was supposed to go to school, but didn't go to school today.
Good.
Oh, okay. Alright.
Battery FGOA 212319 Turtleback Loop. Third party for Saturday.
Okay.
Complaint.
Alright.
Children
Cool.
by two juvenile males. Your request is
Say it
10.5
again?
only. It's code 219.5.
I'm trying to figure out secondary spots, but so far negative on anything. Yeah, you could be 51 to me. Alright, cool. Very cool, too. Alright, cool.
Section Sector 4 units prepare to copy a local from OPD at one.
Yeah, it said negative on that hit at the park.
Way,
So.
reference a 21 to a vehicle. Pursuing local, reference a 21 to a vehicle.
I think
Going
black
to be
shorts.
an unknown male, gray hoodie, black
Possibly
pants,
black
black
shorts and
ski
white
mask,
Crocs
black
with
gloves.
socks.
No further information. 1064, 1946.
And when was the last time you seen her? Do you know around what time?
Around 8:30, 8:40 when we dropped her off.
How tall is she?
5'1",
Weight?
110 pounds,
About 110, 120.
Hair color?
blonde.
Blonde, like a dirty blonde.
Like a dirty blonde?
Like
Yeah.
Okay. Eye color?
Blue.
Does she have any markings on her, like any scars or anything
Has
like that?
a distinctive beauty mark on her face.
On her
here.
face?
On the face, like below the nose or near the nose?
Yeah, like right in that area there. It's very distinctive. You'd know it if you saw it. Big.
Any other scars or anything like that? Which you know?
Scars? No.
No.
Tattoo?
Tattoos? No.
You'd be surprised. Did you put out the description?
I put the top part out. I didn't get the rest of that stuff yet, so I can put it out.
County 3014. Updated 14, 38, white female.
Can I just see that phone?
Black shorts, white plastic socks, approximately 5'1" blonde, dirty blonde hair, blue eyes, has a beauty mark under the nose. And there we go.
I'm getting a random 407 number. Okay. Hello? Yes? Hi, Principal. I'm okay. How are you? No, currently the police officer's here right now.
Yep, start getting the
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find her
paperwork.
anything.
Does she have any social media or anything like that?
She has Instagram.
Right here.
OPT tap on
Private.
It is private.
Just family,
Thank
cousins.
you so much. I
friends.
definitely appreciate it.
Right here.
That's her profile?
Yeah.
She also has a YouTube page.
Okay. Any Snapchat or
She plays games.
No, that's the
She
daughter.
plays games. She plays like Minecraft.